melon puree. This recipe is also for babies 8 months of age and older. All the melon recipes are for 8 months of age and older. And also all the melon recipes, since they have such a high water content, you can also add the rice cereal instead of adding the breast milk to water it down further. So when you're picking out a honeydew, you can read about this on baby-recipes.com, our website, but a honeydew is not a melon you want to bang to decide if it is ripe or not. Banging it actually bruises this melon. That's a watermelon type thing that you do. So with this, you're actually looking for this webbing here that you can see. The webbing on the surface of the melon is a sign that it is ripe. Also, the fact that the melon is not shiny. There's actually sugar that's on the outer rind of the melon when it is formed, and you don't want a shiny appearance, you want more of a dull appearance. The other way you tell if this melon is ripe is by sniffing it. These honeydews have a very sweet smell when sniffed. So we're gonna cut this melon in half. The thing with these melons is they have seeds inside in the center, so you wanna scoop those out. You don't wanna use these. No one enjoys eating that portion. Okay. If we were eating this, we'd cut it really pretty. I'm not gonna cut it super pretty right now since we're just gonna puree it. Melons have a number of health benefits for your baby, including containing potassium, vitamin C, which boosts your baby's immune system and prevents against infection. It also contains B vitamins and copper. You can read more about that on baby-recipes.com. Put these here in the food processor. You can always process using different items, like I talk about in the other videos. You can use a blender, you can use a fork, whatever is really convenient for you. They make little mashing devices to make mashed potatoes with, a ricer. Anything like that would work to puree your foods. You don't have to get a little food processor like me. I know they sell them at Walmart in the baby section now for about $15. And this one I got here, I got at Kohl's for 20 bucks. So you can get them pretty cheap. And if you're gonna be making a lot of food, I think it's worth the investment. So I'm gonna put our lid on here and puree it. Alright, so this doesn't look as liquidy as the watermelon I previously made today. I think we're good to go ahead and pour it in. But if this was not the proper consistency, you think your baby would like something thicker, depending on how watery your honeydew is, whoops, you can always put the rice cereal into the puree. So there we go. Put that in the freezer, pop out the cubes, store them for 3 months max. So butternut squash is the next recipe we're going to be making. Butternut squash is part of the gourd family. Before I got to this point, what I did was I halved the squash, just cut it in half with a knife, and then inside of the squash they have seeds right in this portion. So I scooped out those seeds with a spoon, and then I coated this cooking tray with this Crisco cooking oil. You can also use something like olive oil, vegetable oil, whatever you really have around. Olive oil is a good option. This is vegetable oil, canola oil, same thing. This is just easier because all you do is spray it on. So after that, I put these down, half side down, and then I cook them at 425 for about 45 minutes. And then once you get to this point, all you have to do is scoop out the inside of this and put it in your food processor or just puree it using another method. So butternut squash is a really, really good food because it has vitamin A, which you can basically tell by looking at this squash because it has that orange color to it. It has vitamin C. It's very low in fat. And it's very, very high in fiber. High fiber foods are really good for your baby because they combat constipation, which is a very, very common problem in babies. So the thing you want to know about this kind of squash is that after you puree it, you're usually going to want to put some kind of liquid in to achieve the desired consistency that you want. So the most common liquids to put in would be breast milk, formula, water. You can also use fruit juice if you want. And that way you can get the right texture and consistency for your baby. Just get that in there, get the rest of this fleshy portion out. You can read more about this on baby-recipes.com. Just giving you a pithy version of the recipe so you can make it at home as quickly as possible. Alright, so we have in the food processor what we want. I'm going to puree it. So after you're done pureeing, you're just going to put it in these cubes here. Obviously you can serve it right away. The cubes are a really, really easy way to freeze. Each one of the cubes is about an ounce. So you just fill up the cubes, as many cubes as you can fill. This isn't perfect, but it's only for demonstration purposes. So you pop this in the freezer, you let the cubes get hard. As soon as they are completely frozen, you pop them out, put them in a storage bag, and keep them in the freezer for a maximum of 3 months. Then at any point in time, you can give your baby a cube. Just thaw it using the directions on baby-recipes.com. Blueberry puree. Blueberries are a great fruit for your babies because they contain a number of antioxidants. They actually contain the most antioxidants of any fruit. So they ward off long-term disease, cancer. They also have a number of phytonutrients which do the same thing. Phytonutrients break down all of those cancer-causing agents, so they're a great thing to have in a fruit. Blueberries are known as just a super fruit. They're good for adults too. They're a belly slimming food. They prevent against cognitive issues later on in life. So blueberries are just a great fruit all around. The one thing you want to be concerned about with blueberries is that they can be a little bit tart for your baby. So they do make organic canned blueberries. That's what I have here just because they taste a little bit sweeter when they've been sitting in juice. So that's what I have in this mason jar here, but you can always use fresh blueberries too. And the good thing about fresh blueberries is that they freeze very easily. You just empty the pint out, put them in a freezer bag, throw them in the freezer. Don't wash them before you freeze them. Wash them after they've been frozen. If you wash beforehand, then they will all stick together and they won't freeze well and be preserved. So for this, it's really, really easy. You're just gonna put your blueberries in your food processor. Like I said, these are the canned ones. You get the full recipe for this and all the health benefits on baby-recipes.com. What we're going to do here is puree. The cool thing about the canned blueberries is they have a little bit of that sweet juice in there, so you might not need to add any breast milk, formula, or water to get the desired consistency that you want. So that looks pretty good. Smells really good too. And then we're just going to put them in our ice cube trays here. Pop them in the freezer, serve them right away, whatever you so desire, but there they are.